Thank you for joining me today to take a look at my short review on the Kimo 3-gallon sprayer versus the Petra 3-gallon sprayer. Both of these sprayers seem to be popular in the community right now for people who want a 3-gallon. So, and I happen to have them both for various reasons. So I figured I'd just kind of do a quick comparison of them, you know, maybe to help someone make a decision, especially now when you can probably get it for a discounted price. The Kimo actually runs on a regular basis, it runs about $160. The Petra runs $30 cheaper at $130. These things right here are flying off the shelf. People love them. Kimo, I'm not sure. I've seen a few people talk about it. A few people asked me questions on my last video about it. But after seeing this review, maybe you'll think a little differently about the Kimo sprayer. So let's get right into it. First comparison I want to draw your attention to is the power and how it powers on. They charge a little bit differently. As I said, the Kimo battery 20 volt goes right in here, in that compartment. This one actually plugs in to the wall, the whole unit. There's no battery to take out. And let's go ahead and see what they sound like. So this is the Petra. Starts off with a little bit of a whine. And you can increase and decrease the PSI on it. Right? And this is what the Kimo sounds like. And with the Kimo, as far as the adjustment, it's low PSI, high PSI, and I'll put the PSI up on the screen for each one, and off. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and turn them on together. And then let's go high. So again, as far as how loud it is, my preference is the Kimo, simply because you don't hear that whining noise. I don't like that noise. Typically I'll have headphones in when I'm spraying anyway, so it probably wouldn't be a huge deal, but for me the Kimo wins that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the opening, which is great. They both have wide mouth openings with mesh cups inside, but I kind of prefer this one because it has this handy little handle here that makes it easy to pull it off, and mesh cup. Also with this one, and I didn't see it in the Petra, I don't know if it has a gasket, but this one has this gasket which stands out, you know it's there, from this green top here. I think you can see that. Which I'm guessing gives you a better spray because it's tight here. It gives you a really good seal. So the next thing that I want to talk about is going to be the back and the straps here. I had a big saga trying to get this thing back on. I mean, God, the way that it's in there is just crazy. But anyway, we won't go into that right now. I think I'll put something on my Instagram about that when it happened. So you will see right away the surface area here for this foam comfort piece is pretty small. The straps are decent. The padding is not great. It's not thick, but it does what it needs to do. Those just pop right in there. So that's what we have for the Petra. Let's go over here to the Kimo. Look how wide this surface area is. Very comfortable. The straps are thicker. You probably can't see that in the video, but there's a nice thick piece of foam in there for the straps, which is great. I found wearing this was comfortable. This one is actually a little bit heavier. It's labeled as a little bit heavier than this one, but it feels lighter. And maybe that's because it's so comfortable, and the strap and the back is just better. I don't know. But that's what we have there. So again, as you can see, Kimo wins that battle for me as well. So let's flip these buttons back around and talk about the rubber hose. This one is this rubber hose. The rubber hoses are pretty much the same. The handle's a little bit different. So you can see here that handle, and to lock it, just goes like that. Unlock it, just push it out. Pretty simple. Put some painter's tape around there to seal it a little bit better. Pretty much the same with the Kimo. Handle looks a little bit different, but basically works the same. The handle actually does feel a little bit cheaper on the Kimo, like plastic. Whoa, didn't expect that to happen. I guess there's a little bit of water in there. But for the locking mechanism here, and it may happen again, so this, you just pull down on that, and it locks right in there. So pretty simple, nothing major, no big difference there. I don't think there's a winner one way or the other. If I had to pick a winner, I would say it was the Petra, because it just, the handle just feels a little bit, it just feels sturdier. So, okay, let's talk wands and tips here. This here is the wand, or part of the wand. The other part is in the box, but I really wanted to talk about this part. You guys have seen tons of wands. You know how that works. I had to purchase this additional to the tips that came with this one. It comes with 2 brass tips that are adjustable by twisting them. I don't really use that when I spray. I use the fan tip. So I had to purchase this piece in order to be able to use my T-jet tip in here. And so I wasn't really happy about that. I think this actually comes with the 4-gallon, and I don't know why that tip couldn't come with the 3-gallon as well. This one here, I didn't have to purchase anything additional. I did put one of my T-jet tips in there, and it just works. So nothing special about that, besides the fact that it works, and when things work, I like that. So as far as the wand and the attachments, I'm gonna give that also to the Kimo. Hey, if it's easy and I don't have to purchase anything extra, then that's a win for me. So the coverage looks better. All right, guys, that was actually pretty fun, doing that sprayer comparison. In my opinion, or my preference, is definitely the Kimo. It felt better on my back. It sprayed better. It had a wider spray. I like the fact that I can press the button for the lower PSI and then press it the other way for the higher PSI. Whereas with the Petra, it's just a knob, and more than likely with the Petra, I would just keep it on the higher PSI and spray. But you saw the spray patterns. The Kimo seemed to cover more. Is it the Petra? Is it the Kimo? There's no suspense. Throughout this whole video, you guys have seen my preference, so let's just go ahead and make it official. Kimo, thank you for sending me the 2nd unit to test out. I'm really expecting big things from this in the spring. Yeah, that's it. And thank you guys for coming and checking this video out. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you on Instagram. Here are some of the key comparisons for the 2 sprayers that I reviewed, as well as the final assessment of which one I think will work best for me.